For the longest time possible, Uhuru has been secretly fighting in courtrooms to regain control of Jubilee Party. And as we speak, Uhuru Kenyatta has finally won. In fact, one of the first people to congratulate him is Moses Kuria. Here's the tweet. And I quote, "Congratulations, my senior brother, President Uhuru Kenyatta, for winning back the control of Jubilee Party at a time when there is a competition to ban Kenya through escalation, emotions, and divisions. Jubilee Party, under your stewardship, has a major role to play in keeping Kenya safe. The future is luminous." Then he's attached these two images of Uhuru Kenyatta in military regalia, and also he has changed his profile picture to that of Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, in this video, I want us to look into what this victory means for Uhuru Kenyatta and Jubilee Party at large moving forward. And with no further ado, let's get after it. Number one, this victory means that Jubilee can now formally enter into any alliance of choice, which is why Moses Kuria is congratulating Uhuru Kenyatta and making him his profile picture, because they are trying to bring Uhuru into the Kenya Kwanza alliance. And I think it'll happen, because we already have Uhuru's people like Kabogo, Kagwe, and Nderitu Mureithi in government. On top of that, for the first time, we are learning from Kioni that Rigiji was behind the hostile takeover. Why was he calling out Rigiji after winning back reins of the party? Quite weird, right? But here's the tip.
Mwingine ambaye alichangia pakubwa kusubua sisi ni huyu mnaita Rigiji. He was part of this. So wale tumeshida leo ni plus Rigiji na plus.
So long story short, anybody dreaming of Jubilee joining opposition, just forget it. These guys will only support opposition if Matiang'i is the candidate. Because if they win, they get power. If they lose, they get to negotiate for power, as Raila has taught them. So either way, it's a win-win situation for Jubilee, and that's what they're looking for. Teaming up with opposition, Wamunyoro and DAP and others, to them, it's not considered a win. Second thing this victory means is that we might just see the final chapter of Uhuru Kenyatta's contribution to politics. And the reason I say this is the last time, which is 2022, Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to hand over Jubilee Party to an heir of choice, but he couldn't do it because in that same period, he came under attack by Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega, and thus triggering a lengthy court process. But now that he has full reign of Jubilee Party as per the High Court declaration, he can now decide to hand over the party to Muhoho Kenyatta, he can hand it over to David Morathe, he can hand it over to Jeremiah Kioni, or even his first or last born child if he so chooses. That is the thing Uhuru Kenyatta needed all along. So minus these court battles and so on, Uhuru Kenyatta said that he was going to hand over the party during the Jubilee NDC, which was at Bomas. So this victory means it could very well be the end of Uhuru Kenyatta in politics. A voluntary end. If he wants to hold on, he still can. Now the third thing this victory by Jubilee and Uhuru Kenyatta means is that they finally have some money hitting their bank accounts. Which money are we talking about? The political parties fund. I remember Kioni had some discrepancy and he was talking about Sabina Chege and others siphoning funds out of their accounts. You know, if you own the party and the government by law has to remit political parties' funds to that party, whoever has the reins of the party gets access to the funds. So for the first time during this William Ruto regime, Uhuru Kenyatta and Kioni will have access to some of the millions which will be deposited in Jubilee Party. Now I'm sure that will help people like Kioni to fuel their cars and play national politics with or without the likes of Rigathi and Kalonzo. So money is another factor. But at the end of the day, I do not see a reality whereby Jubilee joins the opposition. It'll just not happen. They would better join the government, and if they're in the opposition, they must be the ones sponsoring the candidate, i.e. Matiang'i. Anywho, let's see what Kenyans Next had to say about this development, and I quote, Leonard Ndirangu said, "Preparing for Kenyatta 3 presidency through Matiang'i. Lord forbid, we can't go back to Pandora and Rivayala." Anti-oppressor said, "Calculated move to make sure Matiang'i is on ballot 2027 to divide Mulima votes." Mungai Mark said, "I mean, who ever thought Sabina Chege can beat Uhuru at anything?" Bafo Odds said, "Jubilee is just a red wheelbarrow. There is no blow to Sabina Chege. It's a scheme by elite to divide Mount Kenya." Makam Evil with Good said she probably will appeal, even if not immediately. Kaongo controls Jubilee already, regardless of which hands it will be on. 4 years and Unye is still struggling to get it back, just like ODMs. It doesn't matter whose hands it's on. It's still under Kaongo. Dr. Bismarck Umbili said, "Then what? What is this amazing thing that will take place now that he has the party? Why are you giving a dead man a walking stick?" But what say you guys? Do drop me your comments in the comment section below and I'll do my best to read them and to give you a response. And in the event you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching for a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for hondavidwafula, hit the subscribe button. You're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really need to subscribe to. Alright guys, adios. Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.